Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
What is going on, everyone? I go by RB, and this is Philly Take with RB. Now, whether you are a new viewer to the channel or if you've been subscribed already, I'm going to need you to go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Help your boy out. Spread the content to other great Philly fans like yourselves. And if you are a new viewer to the channel, if this is your first time tuning in, we'll go ahead and hit that subscribe and stay updated on some great Philadelphia sports content. We all acknowledge this has been a weird time. Life is just pretty boring right now. It's very weird, staying inside 24/7, doing work online. Can't even watch sports on TV. I'm watching reruns from the 1980s. Everything has just been weird. The one thing that I was latched onto, that I was holding onto by a thread, the NFL free agency. That was exciting and all. A lot of big splashes, but everything really happened in the first 3 to 4 days. Ever since then, it's just been, filling voids, picking up pieces here and there, but not much has gone on after those first few days. And quite frankly, man, I am just bored. I know we got the NFL draft coming up. That's the only other thing that I'm really engaged into right now. But that might not even happen, or we don't even know how it's going to happen. There's just so much uncertainty. We don't know if these leagues are going to come back. We don't know when they're going to come back. Who knows right now? There's just so much uncertainty. So to be quite honest, right now there's just not that much to talk about. But yesterday, I'm chilling at home like I've been for the past couple weeks, scrolling through Twitter, and I see multiple sources saying that the Eagles have had discussions with Dan Orlovsky, who is currently an ESPN analyst, and he's usually on the shows like Get Up and First Take in the morning. Apparently, the Eagles have had interest in signing him to become part of the Eagles staff. And just to make it even better, your boy RB goes out yesterday after I see the reports from the sources, and I go and say, I would take Dan Orlovsky on my staff any day. I tagged him in that tweet. And guess what? Mr. Dan Orlovsky himself liked the post. He had to have seen Philly in my name. By the way, go follow me on my Instagram and Twitter at RB Philly Take. He had to have seen Philly in my name, man. I feel like there could be something brewing, There could be something brewing. Us Philly fans, I personally would love Dan to be a part of this squad and kind of get his feet in the door in terms of coaching, man. Now, Dan Orlovsky, he had a 10-year career in the NFL. For most of the time, he was just a bench player, a backup, second string kind of dude. He had a great college career at UConn, but it really never translated to the NFL. So Dan was out of the league after 10 years. I'm surprised he even stayed that long. And ever since ever since a few years ago, he's been on these shows, and he's just been getting bigger and bigger. And he's so good at breaking down film. He's very defensive of certain dudes in the league like Carson Wentz. And overall, I just like the way that he breaks down the game. I think he's a smart dude, and he's had some strong opinions on different topics. Everyone needs that first chance. Dan Orlovsky knows the game of football. Whether he could translate it to his own skills or not, that's a different matter. But Dan, what I've seen the past couple years, Dan knows his stuff. I mean, people are calling for this dude to get his own show on ESPN because he's that good. He's just, his viewership has just been increasing and increasing and increasing. The dude knows how to break down film, and he really understands the game, especially being a quarterback in his previous career. He understands it from a quarterback's point of view. Now, I don't know what the Eagles are going to do. Like we've seen the past couple months, the Eagles are a little up in the air with the coaching staff. There's no offensive coordinator. We brought back Morty Morningweg. We have a whole bunch of dudes, but I feel like I don't even know their titles at this point. We need to establish some type of groundwork. I mean, I guess Doug always calls the plays, but going back 2 years ago, we had a set system, and we had dudes that knew their stuff. Like Frank Reich, the way that he was able to design plays, just the impact he had on the offense, especially when Carson Wentz went down, when Nick Foles had to come in. Doug, Frank, John DeFilippo, the quarterback's coach, they all sat down together and literally remade a playbook for the same offense, but just inserting a different quarterback. And they did that in a matter of weeks. And look how that turned out. We ended up being Super Bowl champions. I've seen the last couple years times where Doug looks lost. And he needs a dude like Frank. And I miss Frank. And if Josh McDaniels never had turned down the Colts after saying he would go there, we would still have Frank Reich probably. We need a dude that is going to have the significance that Frank and John had on this team. Now, I'm not saying Dan Orlovsky should come in here and be a offensive coordinator right away. He's never held a position like that. But let me tell you, I would not mind bringing him in as, I don't know, an offensive assistant, a quarterback's coach, maybe some dude that, maybe some position where he can come in and learn from some of these other guys before he takes that next step, because I'm sure he would. Daniel Orlovsky knows the game of football, and he's been so defensive of Carson Wentz. He's a former Philly resident. He understands how this city operates. He even gets clowned sometimes on ESPN because it almost seems like he's supporting the Eagles. He understands the culture here, and he understands what Wentz has been through, and I really feel like Dan Orlovsky in some type of role would be able to really impact Carson Wentz in a positive way, and I really think he could, improve some of the things that he does wrong. Because quite frankly, some of the dudes on offense, on the offensive staff last year, like Mike Groh, Mike Groh, what did he do? Nothing. We see these guys get traded here and signed, and they don't even get incorporated into the offense. And you got guys like Dan Orlovsky, who after a Sunday night game is posting 2-minute videos of why the Eagles receivers are running wrong routes, or why Carson Wentz isn't hitting guys with his timing, or how he's throwing the ball, like just all stuff like that. And I've seen too many pieces of work from Dan, especially this past season. I know that Dan would have a great impact on this team and on Carson Wentz and the dudes that we have here. If this is true, I mean, I heard this a couple months ago as well, that the Eagles might be interested in Dan Orlovsky. And apparently he said himself that, the Eagles did talk to him about it. They probably saw his work. Now, I'm not sure Dan wants to do this at the stage of the career he's in, because like I said, he is increasing. I really feel like he's going to have his own show soon. He has a family. I've seen all his kids on ESPN, especially during the quarantine. He has like 4 or 5 little kids. I mean, I'm not sure he wants to take that kind of role and, not be there for his little kids as they're growing up. Ladies and gentlemen, if Dan Orlovsky is available, if he is willing to at least partake in something like that, maybe, I don't know if we're going to have like off-season workouts, or I don't know what's going to happen, but any type of experience, if we could get Dan in here and just see what he's capable of in terms of, a coaching standpoint, whether it's a quarterback coach or even something smaller than that, I think the Eagles should take a chance and just at least try to bring him in and see what he is made of. Who is really going to do what as of right now? All we know is that Doug calls the big shots. That's it. And what we do know is that going from the last 2 years, we definitely need an upgrade from Mike Groh, because he essentially did nothing. He was a great wide receivers coach. When he got promoted to offensive coordinator after Frank Reich left, he did nothing. Nothing. But that's all I got for you guys here today. Let me know down below, would you be interested in bringing in Dan Orlovsky in some type of offensive role for the Eagles coaching staff in 2020? Let me know your thoughts down below. Appreciate you guys for stopping by. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.
Perfect.